Good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Tristan, and welcome to Tristan's headquarters. Today, we're going to be going through my Netflix. I know that sounds like a weird premise for a video, but I'm going to be looking at it from a Christian worldview because if you haven't noticed, my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, Netflix has gotten a lot of pushback, and for some valid reasons, because they like obviously there's lots of worldviews like LGBTQ and just a bunch of woke and anti-Christian agendas being pushed. And that is true. There are lots of shows like that, but there are plenty of other shows that don't do that and are just pure entertainment. So today, or could be very beneficial or edifying. So today we're going to be going through my Netflix from a Christian perspective, and I'm going to be recommending some shows to you, um, and giving out telling you some shows that you should probably avoid for your own sake. But this video isn't to tell you what or what not to watch, but to use your discernment, your Holy Spirit filled discernment. So without further ado, let's talk. So first, let's go through my shows. We got One Piece here, great anime. Unfortunately, not all the seasons are there. I was only able to watch Egghead, and I'm currently gonna watch Elbaf soon. But and it's, but one it has some great characters, animation, storyline, and themes. The only problem I have with it is kind of fan servicey at times, but other than that, pretty good show. Then we have Smallville. Okay, hands down, probably one of the best superhero original shows ever. I love Tom Welling as Clark Kent. It's great, and I love the how they basically smashed um, teen drama elements with superhero shenanigans. That's awesome. Then there's also Mashley. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Magic with muscle. Wait, is that magic with muscles? Magic and muscles. Yeah, it's basically just Harry Potter but in anime form. And also all the magic is just fantasy. It's basically a high fantasy world. They do have some pretty weird queer characters, but there's only like two of them. Everything, but everything is just like slapstick humor and cool fight scenes. And Mash is a pretty funny character. Oh, and his friends, oh boy, they're hilarious. So yeah, I definitely recommend this show. Yeah, there's also Demon Slayer. Now for Demon Slayer, um, at first I was skeptical to watch this show because I thought it was gonna be sympathetic to demons, but the demons obviously get killed in the show, and also they're not like biblical demons. They're basically Japanese demons from folklore and stuff. They're more like they're basically oni, which is like vampire creatures or something. So they and also I love how Tanjiro is so willing to fix his sister. I love that. Help Nezuko. There is a bit of gory scenes which I would advise, but if you could, but it's never glorified. And if you're strong enough to handle bloody scenes, um, I think you'll be but was still enjoying the overall overarching story, I think you'll like Demon Slayer. Next one's the Chosen. Now, the Chosen, for some reason, quite shockingly, gets a lot of pushback because apparently people think it's inaccurate or blasphemous, and but I think it's a pretty good show. Yeah, they don't always get things right because nobody's perfect and they'll make mistakes, but I've seen a lot of people be inspired by The Chosen, and I think that's a good thing. So, if you want some like a biblical drama for to watch, I would definitely recommend The Chosen. Next to Passion, it's not as good as like The Passion of the Christ, but so far it does a good job at depicting Jesus and the disciples, which is pretty good. Next show, next okay, so the next two shows we have are pretty controversial, but they're pretty good shows. Breaking Bad and Stranger Things. Now, Breaking Bad is basically a show about a chemistry teacher, Walter White, becoming a drug lord with his former student Jesse Pinkman. Now, I've actually watched this show. I'm on season 2 right now. It does not glorify any of the evil aspects. It always shows the consequences of them. I think that's what aspect I like about the show. It's a pretty interesting character study of Walter White. So if you're looking to watch something where you can learn how to write a good villain to show the consequences of evil, I would definitely recommend Breaking Bad. Then there's Stranger Things. This is a pretty fun show. Like season 1 was peak, season 2 was peaker. Season 3 is alright, though it does kind of feel a little less horror with the Russian stuff, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I know season 4 and season 5 are the most controversial shows due to being very gory and stuff. But I think if you use your biblical discernment, you'll be fine. Also, all the dark forces are condemned in the show, and it all the kids they're they're not perfect because the kids and everything, but pretty good characters that I think you'll love. My only problems with the show is that it can it that they are definitely it, okay, so from what I know from the show is that there are two gay characters, Robin Buckley and Will Byers, and I know that could definitely cause some concern for many viewers, but I'd say if you can separate that from the show, I think you'll be able to still enjoy it. And I know some people are sensitive to horror, so if you are, I would recommend avoiding it. But if you're not sensitive to horror and you like horror, I would recommend the show. Also, for people who are concerned with Eleven's powers, Eleven's powers are no way connected to anything demonic. It's just scientific sci-fi powers. Then there's the show Ghosts. This is kind of harder because while it's very funny and some very well written characters, they can be a bit there are some pretty inappropriate moments with some of the ghosts and some weird references. One of the characters is gay. One of the ghosts is gay. What's a British officer, stuff like that. But overall, it's separate. But like I said, if you're able to use your discernment on what is good and bad in a show, and you're able to just enjoy the good in the show, basically eat the meat and spit out the bones, I think you'll be able to enjoy the show. Then there's the One Piece live action. Okay, this is peak. This is one of the best anime live actions ever. So I watched it before the anime, so I can have a bias that's a little bit better. But actually no, I take that back. The anime is way better. But Yeah, live action, very good. Like just very good. I just almost finished in season two. Chopper and Vivi are so well written, and it has some great acting from the cast. I love the cast. And some also I think about One Piece in both the anime and live action. Destiny. Like I talked about Luffy in my Christ figure video um of how his journey, and if you just love those wholesome journeys of finding of achieving your goals, I would definitely recommend One Piece. Be the discerning of those weird fan servicey moments though. That it's kind of weird, but like other than that, the show is pretty good. And also for if you consider about like Japanese elements like like some certain powers inspired like Shintoism or Buddhism, I would. I just want to remember that it's just mythology. It's not real, and while it is practiced in those real life religions, the shows are just using it as fiction, and it's and most of the and so no, you don't have to worry about that. But then again, it is good to be discerning. But overall, One Piece is a pretty good show, and like with all the other shows, I would recommend it. Well, some I would recommend more than others. Like, I would definitely would not recommend Breaking Bad to somebody who's struggling with drugs. But if you're not, um, by all means, enjoy the show. Just be silly. Then there's BoJack Horseman. Okay, so I'm watching the show right now, and while I wouldn't actually. This is probably the only show on this list I wouldn't like recommend. Mostly because it gets a bit depressing at times. However, there have been lot of good, some pretty interesting moments in the show, and BoJack's journey from selfish behavior to somebody a little bit better is pretty good. But then again, I'm on season 3 now, so I have to keep on going. But yeah, those are the shows I watch. Like those are they're pretty good. And if I ever feel convicted from any, like I said, if I ever feel convicted from any show, I would drop it. But if not, I'll just enjoy it. But even if it has like something bad like BoJack Horseman, I will be discerning. But overall, most of these shows on this list here, like MASH, Smallville, One Piece, they're very fun and I love them. So yeah, I like these shows, but I'll never forget to look at them from a biblical worldview, because Jesus first. So yeah. Well, enough about my shows. Let's go to other shows. Yeah, so Netflix has plenty of shows to choose from. Some good, some bad, like I just showed with my own current watch list. Um, well, most of my shows are pretty. Well, people have different opinions on different things. Yeah, but you know what? In order to really settle this, let's go to search and search up what you want. You see, for the people that want to boycott Netflix, they often forget that they can just search something up, find out the contents, and decide whether they want to show that thing to their kid or not. If yes, go ahead. If no, 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 no. So, for example, if I want to look at a superhero movie or show, I'll just look at that. I'll just look at that. So, for example, if I want to watch Spider-Man, I'll watch it. I'll look at the maturity, I'll look at the genres and the recommendations, who's involved with the movie, and if it's okay, go ahead, watch it. Uh, same with something like Batman. Um, just look at the teaser, or just go into the here, look at the content, and you'll be fine. And sometimes you could, and sometimes if you don't like something, I would recommend watching it to see whether it's good or bad. So yeah, there's some pretty good content there, like Shazam, Spider Man, Batman. There's some pretty okay. So there's some bad stuff too, like this R-rated show called the Guardians of Justice, which is like a deconstruction thing. I really hate the deconstruction era of superheroes. There's a Catwoman movie which sucks. I do not recommend watching that. I never watch it, and it never will. There's Jupiter's Legacy, which I never watched, but it looks interesting. But probably won't watch it in a while. If I do, I'll talk about it. And honestly, it looks better than The Boys, which is trash. There's also Power Rangers, which is awesome. I definitely recommend that. The Umbrella Academy. I wouldn't recommend that. It's kind of for me personally, I wouldn't recommend that. Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, definitely recommend that. Totally tubular. The Miraculous. The writing got bad, but overall it's a pretty. But the earlier seasons were pretty good. So yeah, and it's pretty good. Also, I just want to make a note. How dare Netflix take out Transformers? I mean, it's not as bad as them taking out Passion of the Christ. Of course, why do you do that? But still pretty bad how they always have to take out shows. I mean, there's bring new shows, which is pretty good, but oh, come on. Now, let's look at another genre, fantasy. No, unfortunately, Netflix doesn't have any of the good fantasy like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, stuff like that. But well, actually, it does have good fantasy like Mashley. Um, oh, and okay, well, they're making a Narnia thing, right? They're making a Narnia thing, but it's made by Greta Gerwig, so I'm very skeptical. But if it's good, I hopefully it is. Then there's The Witcher. My friend Christian Connoisseur watches this. While I don't like it because it looks a bit dark. If you're able to handle dark fantasy, I guess you could watch it, or just mature themes. But I personally don't like dark fantasy. I more stick to high fantasy or wholesome, non-occultic, urban fantasy. So yeah, but I just unless it has good morals or just isn't that dark, I will just I'm not really a big fan of dark fantasy as a whole. But if you like it, that's fine. That's fine. Another thing is sci-fi. Like I said, another great genre. There's some great movies like Sonic. I love Sonic. There's what's it called again? Yeah, Space Jam just came recently. That's awesome. There's a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which is peak of that. It's a very mature stuff here, but then again, that comes down to discernment. What's what to avoid, what not to avoid, what you can learn from something, stuff like that. There's also romance. When I was a kid, I used to think romance was cringe until I actually started getting into them, and now I love them. When it comes to romance, I mostly just stick to K dramas and anime because they're more safer than Western romance, which has become very sexual. But But if you are to watch something a romance from the West, by all means watch it, but use discernment because. But then again, my my take is that anime and Korean dramas have better romance. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah. There's also horror, which is the most controversial fictional genre among Christians because, horror. Okay, there's plenty of pretty gory and a lot of inappropriate stuff I definitely wouldn't recommend. But then again, there are some pretty interesting stuff and good stuff like Stranger Things, for example. And if I were to find a horror movie interesting, I would watch it, but I would use discernment. Like the only horror I've ever watched was Five Nights at Freddy's. I know it's a thriller, but still, I would definitely recommend Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I did a review on it, so yeah. So yeah, like I've demonstrated with my searching here, you could easily just find something you want by searching it, and heck, if you want to avoid something, you can search it up too. So, for example, if you want to search up, if you want to avoid anything with LGBTQ, just I'm sorry to any gay people watching, but I will definitely do a video explaining why LGBTQ is a sin. But other than that, I still care about you guys. I just don't agree with your sexuality. That's it. Anyway, yeah. So here you know what to avoid because you just search up LGBTQ, and if you'll see how they're focused on it. Well, it's the main focus, so you know what to avoid. And even if a show like has only like a few hints at LGBTQ, like Flash, like okay, Flash mostly has like straight characters, which I appreciate. I love the Flash and the show. It's like season 9 sucked though. Season 9 sucked. Actually, no, season 7 was it was. I know Flash's future daughter is gay, but that's like a very far thing. It only comes in the later season, so just use the discernment to just enjoy the good stuff. Yeah, and but as I've demonstrated, there are lots of great things about many shows, and yeah, so and on Netflix, they're even on Netflix. So my advice from what I've shown in this video is not to boycott or avoid Netflix, but if you do own Netflix, I would recommend being discerning. Now, can you still enjoy TV shows? Of course, but and movies, sure, but like all things, we need to be discerning. What's good about it? What's bad about it? And you don't have to be that serious about anything. You can just enjoy a show like I'm doing with my shows right now. But Jesus said to test all things, and I intend to do that. And so when you're watching a show, always test it, see what's good, see what's bad. If you enjoy it and it does not conflict with your walk with God, by all means, enjoy the show. My name is Tristan. Thanks for watching. Let me know what down in the comments below. What's your takes on Netflix? What shows you watch? How are you discerning with your shows? And like always, see you in the next video. God bless you all.